Hello and welcome back to Hill House Vintage. Now you see me appearing very differently today and there's a reason, joined by our little guest. There's a reason for that, and that's because I recently went on a trip to Paris, and it was for the launch of a new film called Mrs. Harris Goes to Paris from Focus Features. And they invited me along on the press trip to enjoy the sights of Paris and also to see a little premiere of the film. And that's what we're going to show you today. So it's a little different from my usual houses and gardens, but I also have a love of fashion, particularly Dior. And Dior features quite heavily in the actual film, but you'll also see a lot of Dior in my little clip. So I hope you enjoy as much as the little Dashwood is enjoying my gloves.
Il me semble que ce matin le soleil est un peu moins brillant. Serait-ce la fin des vacances, la fin de l'insouciance? Il me semble que ce
I used to visit Paris frequently when I worked in the fashion industry for a magazine, but I hadn't been back to Paris for 15 years.
voudrais prolonger les vacances, partir.
The trip was organised by Focus Features, the film company behind Mrs. Harris Goes to Paris, based on the book of the same name. The story of Mrs. Harris Goes to Paris is the enchanting tale of a seemingly ordinary British housekeeper whose dream to own a couture Christian Dior gown takes her on an extraordinary adventure to Paris. And I was about to embark on an extraordinary adventure to Paris of my own.
Prends encore un peu de mon temps, les nuits.
You have to choose between the traditional way, which was to put the caviar, and I will do it for you, don't worry, to put the caviar on the back of the hand.
Oh, I never heard of
Yes. This was actually a way to make sure that the caviar was not poisoned.
This
This is what?
Paris is known for many things: the arts, the opera, museums, the Seine, cuisine of course, but it's also known for its imposing and fabulous monuments. Most famous of all, the Eiffel Tower. Among other things, one of our stops was at Miss Manon, the boulangerie artisane, where we tried our hands at being master bakers.
Give us a smile.
And you guys are good. I think you can bring your baguette to the tray.
No pressure, Paul. I'm just right here behind you.
So the idea is that you use your top end for the pressure to make sure the dough goes out, and the lower end to control where it's going. So I'm going to pour it and stop it, go to the next one, pour it, stop it, go to the next one.
You don't want to get dirty. Buttery.
think it's safe to say that I'll never make my living out of making croissants. And then it was time to visit La Galerie Dior, an original exhibition space that bears witness to the visionary audacity of Christian Dior himself and his 6 successors: Yves Saint Laurent, Marc Bowen, Gianfranco Ferré, John Galliano, Ralph Simmons, and Maria Grazia Chiuri. Christian Dior was one of the most influential fashion designers of the late 1940s and 50s. He influenced fashion after World War II with the gorgeous silhouette of his voluptuous new look. He was so famous in France at the time that it seemed as if he wasn't a man, but an institution. And his legacy lives on over 70 years today.
Well, I hope you enjoyed that little jaunt to Paris, and we will be back to English houses and gardens next time. Bye.